Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all for coming. It's long weekend and we can see the effects of the long weekend on the attendance in our temple. but we are very fortunate that Ram Tirtha Prabhu is going to speak today. He is one of the pillars of ISKCON Columbus. When everything shakes, this pillar doesn't shake. So he has been here in Columbus for so many years. Before I came, he was here, and he is mainly involved with preaching Krishna consciousness, giving classes. Very sober person, very never gets angry, and all the good qualities Ram Tirtha Prabhu has. And he's also very much involved with the DT department. And if you have any questions about DT, he's the go-to person. So he also has daily conference calls, and he does a lot of, inspires the community. So we are very fortunate. He's going to speak about relationship between devotees from the scriptures. Is that correct? He's also initial disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and we are very fortunate. So we can welcome him by loudly chanting Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, you can reduce the volume also. Hare Krishna. Okay, is good. Okay, let's start with our Jaya Radha Madhava prayers. And then Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharavari Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Natavara Radha Natavara Radhe, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Balaram Dev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Balaram Dev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So please repeat after me. Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya cha, Nanda Gopakumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namaha, Namo Pankajanabhaya, Namo Pankajamaline, Namo Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Krupa Sindubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble respects and obeisances to him. Welcome all of you. Thank you all so much for coming to ISKCON Columbus Sunday Feast program. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, with all your blessings, I would like to speak on the topic relationship lessons from our scriptures. First of all, before I start, today is Sweta Mataji's birthday. Wish you a very, very happy birthday, Mataji. So may Lord Radhanadabar shower all his blessings upon you on this special day. Okay. Parvati Mataji. Who is Parvati Mataji? Ah, okay, okay. Wish you a very, very happy birthday, Mataji. Thank you. Welcome. So, in ISKCON, the main teachings that we do is bhakti, how to perform bhakti. That's bhakti yoga is the main thing that we practice. So what is bhakti? What is bhakti? So bhakti means, there are several definitions of bhakti, but Prabhupada said bhakti means devotional service. It's not just devotion, it's a devotional service, meaning performing some activity for the pleasure of Krishna and his devotees. And also bhakti, through the process of bhakti, we are trying to revive our eternal relationship, lost relationship with Krishna. So we all have relationship with Krishna, but we forgot. It is dormant in our hearts. So through the process of bhakti, we are trying to awaken that, revive the dormant Krishna consciousness or relationship that we had with Krishna. So that is bhakti basically. So while we are trying to revive this relationship with Krishna, we have so many relationships in this world also. Because we have friends, we have family, relatives, devotees. The ISKCON is established so that we can have association of devotees, various devotees in the community, so that we can progress in bhakti, right? So while we are having this association in the community of devotees, we are trying to establish some relationship with the devotees also. Besides our family, we are trying to establish relationships with so many devotees. And so these are called horizontal relationships. So we have vertical relationship with Krishna, and then we have horizontal relationships with all these other people, the devotee community, family members and friends. And these both vertical relationships and horizontal relationships are supposed to be symbiotic, meaning they are interdependent. We cannot say that, okay, now I am in Krishna consciousness, I am serving Krishna, or I am performing bhakti, so that is the only thing. I don't care about all these relationships that we have in this world, so I focus only my relationship with Krishna. It's not like that. So the relationships that we have in this world and relationship with Krishna, they have to go hand in hand, they have to go together. Because when we are trying to establish relationships in this world, so nobody is perfect in this world, right? We are all conditioned, we all have so many conditionings. So when we try to have the relationship, sometimes it becomes very, very difficult to handle those relationships. We all can, we all have experience of that. Whether it could be between husband and wife, parents and children, siblings, the friends, the devotees. We see so many conflicts among all of these things, right? So it is not very easy to handle those. So if we perform bhakti, if we develop the relationship with Krishna, the vertical relationship with Krishna, that will help us to handle these relationships in the material world, whatever the relationships that we have. That will help us to tolerate the inconveniences, the struggles that we are going through in this world. The vertical relationship will help us to maintain these relationships in the world. And at the same time, if we handle these relationships properly, the horizontal relationships, like for example, having the very good devotee association, the friends with the devotees, so that will give us inspiration. If you have proper sangha of devotees, that will give inspiration for us to practice bhakti better, right? If we are totally disturbed in our relationships, how can we practice bhakti? Our mind is totally disturbed because of our husband-wife conflicts or the other relationships that we have. You don't like somebody in the community, he said this, she said that, I came here to do some service, but she acted like this, she said to step away, or it's like so many things that we go through when we do service. So if these things are bothering us, if we are not having good relationships, good experience in the devotee community or in our families, our mind is totally disturbed. So we cannot have proper bhakti also, we cannot perform bhakti properly. That's why the horizontal relationships and the vertical relationships both are important, both are interdependent actually. Okay, so in order to have these relationships, the horizontal relationships, one has to come to the platform of mode of goodness, because the concept of compassion, loving exchanges, the compassion, tolerance, forgiveness, these are very, very important, right? So for example, why is it so difficult? First of all, is it difficult to maintain the relationships among devotees and other living entities in this world? Do you think it is easy or difficult? What do you guys say? It's difficult, right? Why is it difficult? For example, if I give you like 10 stones, okay, 10 stones, I will give you 10 stones, and I will ask you to maintain for 1 year or 2 years. Is it difficult or easy? You just take those 10 stones and put it in a box or somewhere and then wrap it up, and then you don't have to do anything. Maybe once in a while just dust them off and then you keep it back. That's all you need to do. There is no other maintenance required on the stones. So it is very easy. If I give you 10 machines, is it difficult or easy? Is it difficult? Very difficult? Or how difficult it is? It's not that difficult. Maintaining a machine is, little more maintenance is required compared to stones. But you may have to put some oil, you may have to lubricate it once in a while so that it runs, so that it doesn't rust. You may have to do a little bit of maintenance, but other than that, you don't have to worry too much about it. It's not very, very difficult. If I give you 10 puppies or 10 dogs or 10 cats, how do you feel? Is it as easy as maintaining the stones and the machine? It becomes little bit challenging. So you have to juggle between the needs of these 10 puppies. So you have to take care of each puppy separately, take it out, bring her back, again wash it. You have to do so many things, right? It's a little bit challenging, but it's not extremely difficult still, But if I give you 10 people, what happens then? Is it easy or difficult to maintain? Then the challenge begins at the time. Because as soon as there are emotions involved, as soon as we say people, there is a consciousness, there is emotion. So, and each of these people have different emotions, different needs, different consciousness, different levels of consciousness. As soon as we put 10 people in a room and ask you to maintain, then the trouble starts. It becomes very challenging. We are dealing with false ego because none of us are pure. We are all totally conditioned. Originally we are pure, but in the material world, as soon as we are in the material world, our consciousness is conditioned. Our real ego transformed into false ego. So now that ahankar is there, I, me, mine. So each and every one of us are trying to become boss. That's the consciousness we have right now. So as long as we have this consciousness, then the conflicts are inevitable. They are going to come in the lives of devotees or among people. That's the reason when there is a consciousness, when there is an ego, the false ego in the material world, then the conflicts tend to happen. So that's the reason maintaining the relationships is very, very difficult. So it is easy to establish a relationship, and it is easy to break the relationship also. It is very easy to establish some relationship. You meet some devotee, you meet somebody, then immediately you say Hari Bol, hi, and then you meet couple of times, and then the relationship starts. So you can establish the relationship easily, and then once something small thing happens, you can immediately break the relationship also. That's also easy. But maintaining the relationship properly is a very, very difficult thing. So that's why I have chosen this topic today. I'm not, I just wanted to give a disclaimer. I'm not an expert in this subject. I don't have a lot of realizations. I go through my own challenges in the relationships, many relationships. But I just want to share what I have learned from the scriptures and from other devotees, what I have heard. I'm going to share today. So hopefully this helps all of us to take it forward and in our relationships. So in Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami, verse number 4, he gave a verse which tells the 6 symptoms of relationships between Vaishnavas. How to establish or how to maintain relationship between Vaishnavas is given in Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami. So it goes like this. Please, you can repeat after me. Dadati pratigrihnati guhyamakyati praschati bhungte bhojayate chaiva Shadvidam Priti Lakshanam. So what is the meaning of this verse? Dadati pratigrihnati guhyamakyati praschati bhungte bhojayate chaiva Shadvidam Priti Lakshanam. Shadvidam means there are 6 things one has to do to have these loving exchanges between these devotees. It says offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada and offering prasada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee with another devotee. So these are the 6 things. One is offering gifts, giving gifts to devotees and accepting gifts in return, and sharing our mind in confidence and accepting their mind in confidence, sharing and basically exchanging our confidential messages between the devotees. And the third set is inviting them for prasad and going to their house for prasad. So even in mundane world, even in day to day in our office corporate culture, if somebody wants to have established relationships, what do they do? And most of you are in IT and different corporate environments. So when somebody wants to establish a relationship with their boss or somebody, what do? So typically they either go and give gifts on their birthdays or different occasions. You just offer some gifts to them, or you go out for dinner. Why don't you go out for dinner today? So just go out for lunch. So you try to take them for lunch, you pay for their lunch, or they'll invite you for lunch. So then these exchanges are there not only in the path of devotion, even outside world, those 6 exchanges are always there. So that will help us to establish a relationship or take the relationship forward. Okay. So and a relationship, sorry, let me go to that. So as I mentioned, so maintaining the relationship is very, very difficult. So it needs a lot of substance, a lot of character, and one has to work hard. It is not that once we establish the relationship, it is on its own. No, we have to constantly work on that relationships. We have to invest. It's like an investment. So we have to invest on the relationship by doing these 6 loving exchanges that Rupa Goswami mentioned. One has to invest, in those 6 exchanges to have a good relationship. So it is not that the test of a ship, how strong a ship is determined not when it is at the dock. It's at the docking station when it is docked. Even if there is a storm, it is going to be strong. That's not the real test of a ship. So similarly, the relationship, how strong the relationship is known when there is a storm in the relationship, when there is a conflict in the relationship. How we are maintaining that, how we cope up with that relationship, that's what determines how our relationship is so strong with that particular person. So, and in Srimad Bhagavatam and from our scriptures, there are so many lessons that we can learn in this regard. Especially when there are different intentions of the people, different conflicts that arise. How do we deal with these conflicts? So those are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana. There are so many stories. We are going to pick up just a couple of stories and pastimes from these scriptures. And many times, so especially in the devotee community, conflicts occur. It is not because people have different intentions. So most of us as practicing devotees, we have good intentions to perform bhakti. The intention is good, to please Krishna, to please Guru. That's what our intention is. But the way we handle things, the way we understand the situation, because of that, I may have different understanding of the situation. That's why I'm acting in particular way. Situation is same, but because of my consciousness, level of consciousness and level of understanding that I have about the situation, I may act in certain way, and another devotee may act in certain way because he has different information than what I have. So that's how the conflict happen in relationships. So basically, it is not the intention; it is because of the understanding of different people about the same situation that causes the trouble in relationship. So in a classic example that we can think about is in Ramayana. So you all know Ramayana, Lord Ram and Sita. Lord Ram was banned for 14 years. Lord Rama and Sita and Lakshman accompanied them. So they were all in forest for 14 years, like 13 years. So almost it is 13 years they are in the forest, and there is a pastime of the golden deer, right? So golden deer appears, and then Sita got attracted to the golden deer. So she wanted to have that golden deer. She requests Lord Ram, Prabhu, I need that golden deer. I really like it. So we will have the golden deer while we are in the forest, and also when we go back to Ayodhya, I can give this as gift to your mother, Kausalya. So that's what the intention of Mother Sita was. So Mother Sita requests for that golden deer, and then Lord Ram immediately sets off to get the golden deer. So doesn't Lord Ram know that the golden deer is it's just fake? He knows it, but since Mother Sita is asking, he did not want to say no. Okay, let's go and get it. Okay, and Lord Ram goes to catch the golden deer. The golden deer is none other than the demon Maricha. So immediately when Lord Ram tries to shoot the golden deer, immediately disappears, and then finally Lord Ram goes after the golden deer and it chases. Right, he chases the golden deer and goes into the forest little inside. Then after a while, Lord Ram shoots an arrow to the golden deer, and golden deer immediately comes into its original form, Maricha demon. Immediately what Maricha does, he immediately shouts, "O Lakshman, O Sita," right? And then Mother Sita and Lakshman hear this voice. Then immediately Mother Sita thinks that Lord Ram is in danger. Okay? Immediately she tells Lakshman, "Lakshman, your brother is in danger, so you have to go right away and protect your brother." Because Maricha, when he left body, he shouted in the disguise of Lord Ram. So immediately Mother Sita, out of concern for Lord Ram, she asks Lakshman to go and help Ram, his brother. Then Lakshman says with so much confidence, "Oh mother, don't worry. Nobody can defeat Lord Ram. Lord Ram is the supreme personality of Godhead. Nobody, all the Gandharvas, Kinnaras, all the type, any demon comes into, to fight with Lord Ram, nobody can defeat Lord Ram." And just before, few days before that, Karan Dushan with 14,000 demons, they come to attack Lord Ram, and Lord Ram single-handedly, within one muhurat, which is about 45 minutes or so, so he defeats and he kills all those demons, Rakshasas, and he reminds them. So Mother Sita, don't worry about it, because Lord Ram is very, very powerful. Nobody can harm Lord Ram. But still, out of concern for Lord Ram, she's a wife. So concern for her husband, she still asks Lakshman to go. And Lakshman again says, "No, let's not worry about it, he'll come back." Then Mother Sita suspects Lakshman's character. And she says, "Okay, now I understand why you are here with us for the last 13 years. So you wanted to enjoy with me, and you wanted to enjoy the kingdom if Ram leaves the body." So just imagine, Lakshman treated Mother Sita like his own mother, very motherly affection. And it is mentioned in some scriptures that he did not even see her face, only the feet. That's what it is. And Lakshman has so much love, affection, and respect for Mother Sita, and Mother Sita's words are piercing through the heart of Lakshman. Just you can imagine how hard it will be for Lakshman to handle those kinds of words. A mother is telling his son that you are here to enjoy me. So it's very, very difficult. Then if we are in that situation, what should we do? In a normal relationship, what do? I have been serving for 13 years, day and night. I did not even sleep for a single minute. I am here, I left my kingdom just for you both, and you are telling me like this, you are blaming me like this. I am out of here. I am signing off now. I will go back to my place, Ayodhya, and I will enjoy my kingdom. Why should I stay here? That's the normal consciousness we all think about. But then Lakshman pressed a pause button at the time. He clicked pause button. So he was thinking, is this the normal behavior of Sita? Does Sita always behave like this? No. He reflected, he rewinded back, last 20-25 years, what did Sita do to Lakshman? How much love and affection Sita has shown on Lakshman. Then he understood, it is just because of the tension that she is going through, because of the emotion that she is going through, the words are coming in that manner. Otherwise, Sita doesn't have any ill intention. She doesn't mean by those words when she said that. So when he presses that pause button, he reflected upon all the things that happened. Sita, for 25 years, she deposited love into Lakshman's heart. She only deposited the love. One time she is trying to withdraw in the form of these harsh words. So do you have to care about the love that she has given for 25 years, everything that she gave, or just one time she talked like this, and that too out of emotion when the situation is very, very rough? What should we do? So the Lakshman thought that, okay, this is not normal behavior of Sita. So out of emotion she is doing like this. So I should go, just to satisfy Sita, I will go and protect Lord Ram. I will go to help Lord Ram. So then he draws the Lakshman Rekha, and then he leaves to help Lord Ramchandra. So when he goes to Lord Ramchandra, when he looks at Lakshman, he says, "What's happening? Why are you here? You are supposed to help, you are supposed to protect Mother Sita, and why are you here, sitting here?" Then he gets agitated. Lord Ram gets really angry. You are supposed to protect Sita, and you are here? Then he doesn't know what to do, Lakshman. On one side, wife is telling this, and husband is, you are doing like this. So then anyway, so they come back, and by the time they come back, what happens? So Sita is gone. Anyway, so the lesson that we need to learn from this particular small pastime is that when in a relationship, especially we can see this between husband and wife mostly, right? Sometimes there are exchanges of harsh words. Sometimes, when the situation is not good, when you go through some, conflict, sometimes a husband may use some harsh words out of anger, or wife may use harsh words. So we have to press the pause button at the time. Is this normal? I have been in this relationship for so many years. This is not normal for her or for him. So let's press a pause button and step back, spend some time, and then reconnect again. So don't take those, when a person is in tension, when a person is in so much tension, the words should not be taken seriously. So that is a lesson we have to take. So just we have to step back and just give some gap, like few minutes or an hour or a day, and reconnect back. Just say sorry. Saying sorry in a relationship is not bad. Whether it is your mistake or the other person's mistake, saying sorry is not a bad thing. Saying sorry doesn't mean that you are wrong and the other person is right. All you are saying is that I care about this relationship. That's what sorry means. Sorry doesn't mean that you are wrong and the other person is right. Sorry simply means I care about this relationship, so let's continue. So things do happen. So that is one lesson that we can learn from this particular pastime. And another lesson that we can learn, there are many lessons that we can learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. One of the pastimes that I wanted to share is Daksha Yajna. So how many of you are familiar with Daksha Yajna's pastime? So some of you, yeah, good, wonderful. So yeah, Daksha Yajna's pastime comes in fourth canto, second chapter onwards. So yes, please. Closer? Is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I put too close, it will cut through your ears. That's the reason.
Cutting it out here. So.
Okay. Okay. Is it good, Prabhu? Okay. All right. Okay. So Daksha's pastime. So what lessons we can learn from Daksha's pastime? So Daksha, along with Daksha, some of you may not know, Daksha is a Prajapati. So these Prajapatis are called Manasaputras. Manasaputras means they are born out of mind of Brahma. So Brahma created these Prajapatis for the purpose of progeny, to recreate the population, to repopulate the entire world, the entire universe. Brahma created these Prajapatis, right? So one of the Prajapatis is Daksha. So you can imagine the position of Daksha. It's not an ordinary small position. It's not a minor position. So you are putting in a position where he is supposed to produce the living entities. So recreate the living entities. That is a position of one of the positions of Prajapatis. That is Daksha. So Daksha's daughter's name is Sati. So Daksha gave Sati to Lord Shiva in marriage. So Lord Shiva and Sati are husband and wife, and basically Daksha is father-in-law of Lord Shiva. That's a relationship. Okay. So now Daksha, along with two other Prajapatis, they wanted to perform a yajna. It's a 1,000-year yajna. They wanted to perform that. So it's a huge celebration, huge religious as well as social event. So they invited all the demigods, different demigods. So you can imagine the position of Daksha, right? He's a big position, big man. So he invited all the demigods, different devatas, everybody assembled, so sages, everybody assembled in that place to perform this yajna, and along with Lord Brahma and also Shiva. So everybody attended this place. Sorry? Okay, we'll come to that point. So in this particular case, Shiva is also there. So Lord Shiva and Brahma, everybody is sitting in that assembly. Now, as a big man, Daksha enters into the assembly of that devotees and of the people. Then because out of respect, so he's such a big position, exalted position, Daksha's is exalted position, everybody stands up as to show the respect. So that is an etiquette that we have to learn. When there is a big personality, comes, we have to show out of respect, we have to stand and, pay obeisances, and all these things are there. So all these demigods, everybody gets up to show respect to Daksha. Only two personalities do not get up. Who are those two personalities? One is Lord Brahma, the other one is Lord Shiva. So Lord Brahma doesn't get up because Lord Brahma is the creator. What is the position of Lord Brahma? He is the creator of even Daksha. So the relationship wise, Brahma is father of Daksha. So that's okay. So Daksha did not mind. He was okay because Brahma is in the superior position. So he was okay with that. Then when Lord Shiva does not get up, what is Lord Shiva's position from relationship perspective? He is a son-in-law. So it's kind of not superior. So Daksha is superior. He's a father-in-law and he's a son-in-law, right? So even though the son-in-law is supposed to be treated as Lord Vishnu, but anyway, so son-in-law's position is kind of not superior to Daksha. So in this particular case, so Daksha gets agitated. Why Lord Shiva did not get up and show respect to me, right? So he really gets disturbed. He gets really angry. You can read in the fourth canto, second chapter, what kind of harsh words Daksha uses against Lord Shiva. He starts telling so many things about Lord Shiva. He says that Lord Shiva, only the name is auspicious. Shiva means auspicious, but everything is inauspicious about Shiva, because he lives in the graveyards and smashana, and he has all this, the crematorium, the ashes on his body. And what are his friends? Who is he roaming with? All the goblins and ghosts. So that only the name is auspicious, but Lord Shiva is completely inauspicious. He doesn't even have a culture to show respect. So he starts blaspheming left and right, Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, on the other hand, he doesn't even think about anything else, so because his mood was, in one sense, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu are superior to everybody, because Lord Shiva, if you look at maintainer, creator, destroyer, these three are the three Trimurtis. That position is very, very high. Lord Shiva's position is extremely high. But Lord Shiva was not thinking about his position, that he is high or low. He was constantly thinking about Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. He is always meditating upon that. He is transcendental. He doesn't care about all these things. He is transcendentally thinking about Lord Vishnu. But then Daksha says all these harsh words. He insults Lord Shiva. He says so many things, and he, with so much anger, he leaves. And then Lord Shiva also, without saying anything, he also leaves the place. But then what happens? The disciples of Lord Shiva, they get really agitated. How can you say these kinds of things to my master, Lord Shiva? So then Nandishwara gets really upset. Nandi is the vehicle of Lord Shiva. He gets really upset. And there is an exchange of words, harsh words, between Nandishwara and Brahmin community, so headed by Bhrigu. So they have exchanges of several harsh words between them, and Nandi curses all the Brahmanas there, and the Brahmanas curse Nandishwara and all the disciples of Lord Shiva. All these things taken place, all these things happen during that yajna. So that happens. And then Nandi curses Daksha, that you will have a goat head, you will become a goat. That's a curse that is given by Nandishwara to Daksha. So anyway, so all these things happen. So the point that I want to see, what is the lesson that we can learn when Daksha comes into the arena and Shiva did not get up from that place? So what is the lesson we can learn from this particular pastime? Is that from that particular section of this pastime? Is that so here the conflict happened between these two individuals because of the expectations and because of the needs of the people. Daksha's need in this case is respect. He was expecting respect from Shiva. So that is the need of the individual in that particular case. So in any relationship, we have to understand the expectations of the other person. What are the needs of the other person, right? Sometimes, we think we have some needs in our relationship, but the other person may be completely thinking something different. We don't even know what they are expecting from us. So in a relationship, we have to understand what are the needs of the other person and act accordingly, so that you will have a smooth relationship. Otherwise, you will have this conflict. Like for example, in a wife and husband and wife relationship, typically the wife comes, she comes from work or she comes from some get together or whatever, and something happened in that place, whether it is workplace or in some get together, some gathering, something happened. The wife comes and then start venting. She starts keep telling, what happened in this function, I went there and this devotee said that the devotee, so she behaved like this, I did not expect, that is so disappointing, that is so blah, 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 blah. Then immediately, what husband does, immediately husband starts giving solution. You shouldn't have done like this. The person shouldn't have done. So immediately the nature of the husband is to give solution. Wife is coming and venting her problem, whatever she is going through, the emotional thing, that's what she is doing. And the nature of the husband is immediately give solution. Then what happens? The wife get irritated. I am not asking for your solution right now. I am not asking for a solution right now. Can you please keep quiet and listen to me? Just listen to me. Give your ear for 15 minutes. That's all I want. So that is the expectation of the wife. But by nature, the husband's nature, the men's nature is to immediately they become analytical. Women are more emotional. Men are more analytical. Immediately as the wife is telling the problem, the men immediately start thinking, what is the solution? How to avoid this? That automatically goes on, that analytical brain kicks in for the men. But wife is not expecting that. So all she wants is a shoulder to vent. Because she also knows the solution. Finally, she will tell the solution also. After all this, she knows what exactly to do, how to handle next time. She knows it, but she just wants somebody to hear that problem at that moment. So the husband has to understand. Okay, sometimes we don't know that, but at least after a couple of experiences, we should learn and implement that next time again. So basically the gap between the expectation and reality, what we need to understand the needs of the other person in a relationship, right? So another one is, another example, small example that I can tell you is that, like for example, if somebody comes and gives you a nice gift, some nice gift, somebody comes from India and they bring a nice gift and they give to you. So then, as an exchange you give, like for example, can you turn on the fan? So sorry, I'm feeling little warm here. No, just fan is fine, I guess. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. What is that? No, that's okay. That fan is good. The fan is good. I need little bit. That's my conditioning. So things are heating up. Relationships, so it's a very, very hot topic. So we have to. That's what.
Fail to meet your expectations.
Exactly. I may get angry and then it's like. So okay. So somebody gives you a nice gift. Somebody came from India and they give you a nice gift, and then as an exchange, you give. So while they are leaving the place, you try to give $100 gift card or $100 gift as to them. Then the other person may think, I got this gift for 1,000 rupees. For those who do not know, 1,000 rupees is equivalent to $15 approximately. Just for conversion process. I gave $1,000, but this person gave only $100 to me. I gave 1,000 rupees worth of gift, but this person gave me only $100. So she is comparing with 1,000 with 100 here. So 1,000 is higher or 100 is higher from the number perspective. The number seems to be 1,000 seems to be higher. So basically the two persons are dealing with two types of currency. There is no understanding of the currency. The $100 is much more valuable than this 1,000 rupees, but that person is talking in terms of rupees, one currency, and this person is reciprocating in another currency. So there is a discrepancy because of that. There is a misunderstanding because of that. Similarly, when we have small children, right? When small children perform some activity, when we are really happy, the parents really become happy, and then if we give, like for example, $10 to the kid, is the kid happy with $10 or one chocolate? What will they feel happy? They feel very happy with chocolate, right? Chocolate or a small candy, they feel very, very happy. They feel extremely jubilant, and they pick up the candy and they see the candy with so much happiness, and they run around and they show this candy to everybody, his friends also. But for the $10 you can get 100 candies like that. But if you give the $10, the kid is not happy, because you guys are talking two different currencies. So the understanding the need of the kid is a chocolate, not the $10. The $10 seems to be higher than the candy, but the kid does not understand the value of $10, right? So we are talking in two different currencies. That's why in a relationship, the expectations, the need of the other person, one has to understand, one has to know. So to establish any relationship, whether it is Krishna, whether it is devotees, any person, you have to know other person better. Then only you can establish the relationship better. So you have to understand the needs of the other person, right? So, and then that particular pastime, Shiva leaves, and then sometimes this is another lesson here. So when somebody is angry, what should we do in a relationship? When there is a heated argument, one person becomes angry, what should you do? You should leave that place, or you should stay back and yes, you want to say?
Walk away. Just walk away. Don't even worry about the conflict. It will settle.
Yes, that is a good answer. That's what we think. Sometimes just walking away from that place, because that's a lesson. If somebody is angry, don't speak anything because it may aggravate the situation. That's what we hear. So just leave the place. But then sometimes leaving the place is also a problem. I am angry here, I am shouting top of my lungs, and this person is not doing anything, he is leaving like that. He doesn't even care about my emotions here. So, see, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, but it will settle down at some point.
Exactly. So there is no one right answer for that. In some cases, as that Mataji was saying, so we have to leave that place and give some gap. Give that. Or depending on the situation, you may have to sit there, wait for some time, and try to clarify the situation, try to fix the situation, but never leave it like that. When there is an angry situation, when there is a situation like that, you always have to again talk about it, discuss and close the case. Don't bury that situation. It is like burying that particular scenario means basically you are planting a seed and you are putting mud on it, thinking that it's over. What happens to the seed? Eventually it sprouts, it comes back, and after some times it becomes a tree. Then it becomes very difficult to chop it off.
No, you get the situation to settle.
Yes, you have to settle it. Yeah.
But do not try to talk
When the situation is hot. Exactly. You don't have to talk right away, but give some time. But again, try to discuss about it, and then try to close that gap. Otherwise, what happens? After 20 years, you did this in 1992. I can see, husband and wife laughing already. In 1998, 23 years ago, evening 4:30, when I came from office, I gave you coffee and the coffee did not have enough sugar and you shouted at me. So all these things happened. If you don't fix it right away, these things will keep adding up. It becomes a tree and it becomes difficult to handle the conflicts. So that's what. So when people are angry in a relationship, there is no one solution. Depending on the situation, we have to act. But the point is, try to fix it later. Take some time, but just don't leave it like that. Just try to patch it up, clear it up. Otherwise, it becomes a huge tree later on. You become frustrated later on. Okay. So that's what happens in this case. Otherwise, it will have a snowball effect. It starts with small misunderstanding. If you leave it like that, the small snowball, if it rolls down the hill, what happens? By the time it comes to the ground, it becomes like a huge ball. It can blast the entire house or a person, devastate the entire thing. That's the reason when there is a misunderstanding, so immediately one has to clear that up. Talk to the person directly, ask them, what is wrong with you? I see some difference in your behavior. So anything wrong? Did I commit any offense? So go and talk to them. They just don't leave it like that. If you care about the relationship, one should have honest conversations between that person. We have to try our best from our side. So then leave it up to them later on. But at least we should have that conversation. Don't leave it like that. So otherwise it becomes very difficult in the relationship to continue. There is one person named Muhammad. Okay. This Muhammad calls his doctor, one doctor. That says, doctor, it was like night around 9:30 or 10 o'clock, so much, he's panicking. So, doctor, my wife is having severe stomach pain, abdomen pain, I don't know what to do. So, do something, tell something. Then the doctor says, just he prescribes so and so, the medication, the pill. You just give this pill, she should be fine. Then immediately Muhammad goes and gets the pill. She gives the pill to the wife. And then after a few minutes, immediately he calls the doctor again. No, doctor, it's not helping. She's really screaming with pain. So much panic, I don't know what to do. So then the doctor says, so you bring your wife to me. So let's check it out. So then Muhammad takes his wife to the doctor. And doctor does this, diagnosis and says it's appendicitis. So we have to remove the appendicitis from the body. So he says, okay, go ahead and do it. So then immediately the appendicitis is removed by the doctor and they come back. Everything is happy. Again, after a couple of months, Muhammad calls again. Doctor, my wife is having severe stomach pain, abdomen pain. It's very severe. She cannot handle this. Then the doctor says, so just give this tablet, so that will fix the stomach pain. Then he says, yeah, because based on my last experience, I gave the pills also. So, but still she's screaming with pain, she's so much in pain, so I don't know what to do. Then immediately Muhammad suggests the doctor, last time you removed appendicitis, so why don't we do the same thing? Then the doctor says, Muhammad, I know what to do. A person has only one appendicitis. You cannot remove second time. Then the Muhammad says with so much impatience, I know a person has only one appendicitis, but a man can have two wives. This is my second wife having the problem. So we don't know what is happening on the other side. So a lot of times in relationship, that's what happens. We don't know what the other person is going through. We don't know the perception or what the other person is going through. We don't know. We are thinking only from our perspective, and we are trying to give solution or we are trying to help in that. But we have to think from the other side also. We have to ask what exactly is the problem. So in this case, the problem is with the second wife, not with the first wife. But this guy is thinking in only one direction. Right? So Um, so that is one lesson we all have to think. You know, another story, small story I would like to tell is that one teacher asks John, a small child, you know, so it's a mathematics class. The teacher goes and tells, okay, John, I will give you 2 mangoes and then 2 mangoes. How many mangoes you have? Then the John, without, you know, even without blink of an eye, he says 5 mangoes. Then the teacher says, John, wait a second. Looks like you did not understand my question. I give you 2 mangoes and then 2 more mangoes. How many mangoes you have total? John says 5. Okay, then she is saying, what is going on here? You know, why it's such a small problem? Why is he telling 5? Then she thinks, okay. Then she remembers, John likes chocolates. He doesn't like mangoes. Let me change the example and then tell the problem. So then the teacher says, I will give you 2 chocolates and then 2 more chocolates. Totally, how many chocolates you have? Then the John says 4. So then she becomes happy. Oh, okay. So John likes chocolates. That's why he's telling this. But he understands the logic. So let me go back to the original question. Again, she goes back and asks, I'll give you 2 mangoes and then 2 more mangoes. How many mangoes you have? John again, without waiting for a second, he says 5 mangoes. Then the teacher gets really irritated. You know, when I say chocolates, you said correct. You know, 2 plus 2 is 4. Then I'm giving you the example of mango. Why are you saying 5? She gets really irritated and angry about that kid, you know, on the kid. Then the immediately kid takes his bag and says, I already have 1 mango with me, ma'am. That's why I totally have 5 mangoes. So again, here the perception, because we don't know what the other devotee is going through in their life. There may be so much that is happening in the other person's life. We are thinking only in one dimension or one side of the things. That's why in case of any conflict, when there is a conflict, we have to push the pause button and think, you know, maybe there is something going on in the other person's life. They are going through some difficulty. You know, that's not the normal behavior. The person is always jovial, very friendly, you know, they always try to help. But in this case, they are trying to stay away, they are not talking. Maybe there is something going on. So we have to openly talk to that person and figure out to continue the relationship, right? Okay, so another lesson that I wanted to talk is, we have only 5 more minutes. Another lesson I want to talk about is the misunderstanding, judging without understanding the other person. These are all the similar examples, but one pastime that we can think of from our scriptures, from Ramayana mainly, is the pastime of what is the major misunderstanding that happened between personalities in Ramayana? Vali and Sugriva. Of course, Bharat is the, you know, the biggest. We cannot imagine what kind of, you know, pain Bharat has gone through, you know. But from relationships perspective, so because of the misunderstanding between, you know, judging without understanding the other person, that happened between Vali and Sugriva. So Vali and Sugriva, you know, those two are not only not only brothers, but they are very, very close friends. Very close friends. They were always together, helping each other. You know, always they are together like that. Then once there was a demon called Mayavi entered into the kingdom of Vali. Vali was the king, you know, right? So Kishkinda, Vali was the king of the Kishkinda. So Mayavi entered into that place and challenged Vali. So Vali wanted to teach a lesson to Mayavi and wanted to punish Mayavi. So then Mayavi challenged Vali and Mayavi went into, Vali chases Mayavi, this demon Mayavi. Mayavi story, they go into a huge cave. It's a very, very, you know, huge cave, very dark cave. Then Sugriva also follows them to help Vali. So you know the prowess or power of Vali. Vali is extremely powerful warrior. He's very, very powerful. And whoever stands in front of Vali, they get half of their power also. You know, that is the power of Vali. He has a benediction. You know, he has a mala. As long as his mala is there, he will not be killed, and the other person's strength, he gets 50% of the other person's strength to him. So then they go into the cave and they fight for several days, and Sugriva was waiting outside the cave. Okay, Sugriva was waiting outside the cave, you know, just to make sure the demon doesn't come out. If he comes out, he can handle the demon. So after several days of silence, then he hears a loud noise inside the cave, and Vali doesn't come out of the cave, and Sugriva was thinking, you know, maybe this demon Mayavi killed Vali. If if Mayavi could kill Vali, what happens to me? If the demon comes out, then I am nowhere. I cannot even survive. It's impossible to survive. So immediately what he does, he takes a huge boulder, which is like a, in the size of a mountain, mini mountain, and somehow he brings it and closes that cave so that the Mayavi doesn't come out. So then he comes back and tells in the kingdom that, Vali is no more. He's killed by this demon Mayavi. And then then immediately the ministers and all the praja, they tells that, we cannot survive without a king. We definitely need a king. So you become the king because there's nobody capable. So you are the next person who is capable to handle the kingdom. So they make Sugriva king. Sugriva reluctantly accepts this kingdom. It's not that he wanted the kingdom, but there needs to be some king. So he accepts the kingdom. And then the days pass by. After some time, Vali comes out. Somehow he pushes that boulder. He kills Mayavi, he pushes the boulder, and then he comes into the kingdom. He knows, he understands what happened. So he comes to know that Sugriva is the king of this kingdom now, and immediately he gets enraged. He gets extremely angry and agitated. He just walks into the assembly of Sugriva. As soon as Vali comes into the assembly, then Sugriva, with so much jubilance and happiness, he just comes towards Vali. So, but then as he was coming, he could understand what kind of feelings Vali is going through. Vali was extremely angry and enraged. So as soon as Sugriva comes, he starts kicking him, thinking that you are a traitor. So you are waiting for this opportunity to take the kingdom. How can you do this? So kicks, and he was about to kill. Vali tries to kill Sugriva. Until then they were very, very close friends, close brothers and friends. But this incident, immediately Vali changes, and he says that you are doing this to, what is that? You are a traitor, you are doing all these things to me. And then immediately Sugriva cannot handle that power of Vali. It's not possible for Sugriva to win over Vali, to fight over Vali. So immediately he runs away from that situation and he hides in Matangamuni ashram. There is an ashram nearby, near Kishkinda, which is called Matangamuni ashram, where Vali cannot enter because of a curse that is given by Matangamuni to Vali. So he finally escapes there, and eventually Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman comes there to that place, and then Sugriva takes help of Lord Ram to kill Vali. So that's what happens. So again, what is the lesson that we can learn from this? So again, Vali judged Sugriva without even giving an opportunity to speak. It doesn't even give an opportunity to explain what happened. So he judged Sugriva without understanding the mood of Sugriva. So in any relationship, that's what. So we have to try to understand the other person, understand the other person's needs, his mood, what he is going through, what is the situation, what kind of help that person did, how much service that person has done to us or help in every situation. So every time we have to think about that when there is a conflict in the relationship, and then go with that. Okay. So I mean, it's 12:30. There is a few more things that we can share with respect to Daksha's pastime. There are a few other stories also, but I don't want to take it. It's already 12:30. But I will end with one analogy of a relationship. Then we'll end here. So the relationships, I heard this from Gaur Gopal Prabhu. I really liked it. This is a small clip. I really loved this statement, what he said. So relationships are like a flashlight. When everything goes well, the flashlight gives very bright light. But if you do not maintain that relationship, if you do not maintain the flashlight, what happens? The battery slowly goes down. Then the light comes down. It becomes dim. The flashlight becomes dim. In that case, what do? Do you throw out the flashlight or do you change the batteries? What do? You change the batteries. So you change the batteries, right? So typically flashlight needs either AA battery or AAA battery. AA, 2A, AA batteries or AAA battery. So in relationships also, to always maintain that relationship properly, we need to have either AA or we need to provide AAA. What is AA? AA means affection and attention. So we have to give attention to we cannot ignore a relationship. We have 15 years of relationship, now I don't have to do anything with them. That will continue. No, it is not like that. We have to give affection and attention to the relationship. We cannot ignore that. And sometimes it will need AAA battery. AAA battery means affection, attention and acceptance. We have to accept their faults. We have to accept their conditionings. We have to accept their shortcomings, because nobody is perfect in this world. We are judging the other people. We are trying to see their faults, but we have to know that we also have faults in us. It's not that we are perfect and the other person is imperfect. So we have to understand our shortcomings also in a relationship. So always in a relationship, so we have to give either AA or AAA. AA means what? Affection and attention. AAA means affection, attention and acceptance. So this is very, very important to continue to have good relationships in a community of devotees or anywhere. So these horizontal relationships will help us to progress in the vertical relationships. They do not hamper our bhakti. So that's the reason. So we have to take care of both vertical relationships as well as horizontal relationships. So when we do the vertical relationship, how do we maintain the vertical relationships properly? How do we do that? How do we maintain good relationship with Krishna? Yeah, by service, by sadhana, by chanting our rounds sincerely. That's how you are showing your relationship with Krishna. You are serving Krishna very nicely. Following the 4 regulative principles. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the holy name sincerely. So by doing this, we are establishing our relationship, reviving our dormant relationship with Krishna. So we are re-establishing our connection, our relationship with Krishna. When you are doing that, that mood helps us to maintain this horizontal relationship properly. So that's how these both horizontal relationship and vertical relationship have to go together. Those are interdependent. So
If one serves the vertical relationship very sincerely, then automatically the horizontal relationship will be maintained, because if some people are true devotees, then all those positive qualities will be around.
yeah, once you become pure devotee, we are coming at the pure devotee status. Once you become a pure devotee, your consciousness is completely pure. At that point, it's different. But we are talking about, as we are developing the vertical relationship, we still have this, we have to be careful about this relationship, horizontal relationship. We cannot ignore saying that, that's why, sometimes people ignore this horizontal relationship, thinking that, okay, I am serving Krishna, that's what matters to me. I don't care about this relationship. No, we still have conditioning. We are in the group of devotees. We are in the association of devotees. Even if you do not want, conflicts do arise, do occur. So in that position, we have to have this knowledge. We have to have these techniques. We should have this knowledge to handle these conflicts. That way we can have smooth journey in Krishna consciousness. That helps us to do that. Okay. So with this, I will end here. Thank you all so much for your patience and tolerance. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So it's 12:35. Shall we end here, and we can discuss offline if anyone has any questions.
I was also thinking Kanishta means they think PD.
Oh yeah.
The Kanishta, Madhyama, Adhikari, the difference is that they only think that I have a relationship with the Lord, but they don't know how to treat the devotees and other people. They don't give respect.
Yes.
That is the definition of Kanishta.
Absolutely.
Madhyama is like one who understands the devotees, those who are inimical, those who the Lord. So there is difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Nectar of Instruction talks about the 3 types of devotees also: Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama. So the mentality of, they give respect to the deity, they worship deity, but they don't think about other devotees or the Lord's devotees. Then it's a Kanishta mentality. They just do the deity worship nicely, but that's about it. They don't take care of other things. So that's Kanishta mentality. So one should raise from that consciousness. That's what brings me. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing that point. So we will end here, and we will stand up for Kirtan. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.